Hi, this is Martha Dunlop from The Curious Mystic, and today I bring you a cosy chat with fantasy author Shelley Wilson. So welcome, Shelley.
Hello, Martha. Thank you very much for having me on today.
Oh, it's lovely to chat to you. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'll give it a go. My name is Shelley. I'm a multi-genre author. I write young adult fantasy fiction as well as non-fiction. I'm here today to talk about my latest fiction book, which is Oathbreaker. So a glossy copy there.
Lovely cover.
I know. I love it. I keep stroking it. I love it. And as well as writing books, I also do blogging. So I enjoy all kinds of writing.
Lovely. And you're here today to talk about Oathbreaker, which is a werewolf book.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's all fangs and teeth.
Yes, yes. So tell me, what inspired Oathbreaker?
Oh, right. My daughter she's just started her last year at school. So last year she came home with this creative writing homework. And anything to do with writing, she goes, Mum, you're going to have to help me. So this particular project, she said, I've got to do a retelling of a fairy tale. And she was like, I don't know what to do. And straight away, for me, I was just like, well, what about if Red Riding Hood was a werewolf hunter? And she kind of looked at me and gave me that teenage eye roll, you know, the one that they're so good at, and went off in a total different direction. But I couldn't get the idea out of my head, and it kept ticking and things kept, and I was like, oh, right, okay. So that's kind of where it came from, really.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's really great idea. I like that. So lack of trust and betrayal are massive themes in this book, aren't they?
They are.
So can you tell me a bit more about that and what role you see those playing?
Yeah, it's when I was writing Mia, she was me, basically. I walked away from an abusive marriage 13 years ago, so lack of trust, all of that had been smashed for me when I was sort of in my 20s. And Mia is a little bit, well, she is me, yeah. She's got all those feelings inside, and it was so easy to write that character from that perspective. So, but what I wanted to do, because I write for teenagers, and I'm thinking obviously of my own teenagers, I wanted my readers to know that even though you've got those issues and that lack of trust and all that betrayal going on behind you, that doesn't define you. Yeah. And that was an important lesson for me to put across, really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. And you talked about Mia being you, and there's Kody, who is the romantic lead. Yes. So is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Mia and about Kody and about how they fit together?
I think Mia is just typical teenager for me. I suppose, again, I'm looking towards my own kids here. You know, she's moody, she's snarky, she's opinionated. I love them dearly, I promise you. But she's just a kid. She's just a young girl at heart who just wants to belong, wants to find that place to fit in. Again, very much like me. Kody, I watch my boys. I've got two boys and a girl, and I watch them, because writing a male character is very hard for me, probably because I've been single for 13 years and only had the kids, so I don't have that relationship angle to feed from when I'm doing my writing. So I watch how they move, how they talk about girls and all of that kind of thing. So he was a brave character for me to write, but he was also, I guess, he rushed me back to my teen crushes. Yeah. And I could remember them, you know, I really fancied so-and-so and used to draw hearts on my school books and things like that. So there's a little bit of that I kind of pulled through as well. But he was the kind of lad I would like my daughter to meet, you know, kind, caring, and all of those kind of things, really.
But maybe without the wolf.
Yeah. Very true.
So Sebastian, who is Mia's uncle, and Felicity, who is really your main, I was going to say protagonist, she's your main antagonist. Yeah. They're kind of broken by their experiences with the wolves, aren't they?
Yeah, very much.
Whereas Mia, I mean, she starts in this horrible situation and she gets stronger and stronger throughout the book. Yeah. So how does she manage to make herself so strong out of this contact, whereas they've kind of collapsed in on themselves?
Yeah. I think with Sebastian, he sees the wolves as the enemy, because they came between the love of his life, and he can't get past that.
Yeah.
He thinks he's helping, but obviously, you know, those two sides to every story. Felicity, she's almost been brought up with this hatred of wolves, so it's a generation thing that's come through, you know, and we do know as children we're so impressionable of what our parents believe in and do and say, so she's just automatically assumed that all werewolves are bad. For Mia, she's an outsider. She's always been on the outside looking in, not belonging, not knowing really who she is or what she wants to be, and she sees that in the wolves, and she sees a freedom. You know, the fact that they're out and running and doing what they're doing, she wants to be a piece of that, and she sees how she wants to evolve, I guess, and finds the strength from that.
And I guess that the wolves freed her from a bad situation rather than depriving her of a good one, didn't
Absolutely,
they?
yeah. Total flip side of Felicity's story, if you like.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you talked a bit about Felicity being brought up to believe that the wolves are bad, and I was wondering whether is there a racial and tolerance message in there, because there's very much this sense of the hunters and the wolves are both born, they've got this gene that becomes activated, and there is a lot of prejudice in the book, isn't there? Kind of mainly on the hunter's side, and then fear on the side of the wolves. So I was just wondering what the message was in there.
You're not the first person that said this to me, and I think it was one of those. It's not an intentional thing that I've put in there, but it's quite big in society today. And I think it sneaks into your writing, whether you mean to or not, really. I have zero tolerance when it comes to bullies in any way, shape or form, and so that was an important thing for me, that we're never going to get rid of bullies. They're there. Unfortunately, they are part of life, in all kinds of situations. And I kind of wanted to make Mia and also Elizabeth and the wolves just, you can stand up to these bullies. You can win against them, and don't let them get you down. And I think that was kind of the theme I was hoping to get across. And I think it's that particular theme kind of exploded a little bit more than I'd ever anticipated, but it's lovely that that's what people are picking up from it.
It's nice when that happens.
I'll take that one. I totally meant it.
Claim it. So you've already told us why you wrote about werewolves, but are there any other paranormal creatures that you would like to write about?
Oh, blimey. My favourite, you know this, my favourite is vampires. I am a huge vampire fan. The Lost Boys is my all-time favourite movie. I love Interview with a Vampire, anything, True Blood, Vampire Diaries, I just love it all. I've never had a vampire character pop into my head. Which is really unusual, because I think because I surround myself with so many vampires, television, books and all the rest of it, I would have thought that one might have popped up, but so far nothing. But maybe one day.
Watch this space then.
I'd like to, but I'd be scared that I wouldn't do it justice. I think that's the fear.
There's a lot of vampire stuff out there, isn't there?
Absolutely, a lot of good stuff. So maybe not. I'll stick to teddy bears or something instead.
And so what is coming next?
Oh, everyone keeps asking me this. This is all right. This controversial answer here. When I wrote Oathbreaker, I never intended it to be a series or anything. It was a one-off. And actually, when my editor was working on it with me, she was like, no. There's more. You can do more. There's a series here. And I was like, oh, really? Yeah, absolutely. And since it's come out, the amount of people have said, right, when's the next book? What's happening next? And I'm like, oh, right, okay.
I assumed there was the next book.
I can understand. I just thought, I don't know why I thought it really, but in my head it was very much I'm going to let the reader decide which way it goes in the end.
Okay.
But yeah, that's that. No one's going to let me get away with it, I'm afraid. So I am plotting another one.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually started writing it. So the plot's done. The characters have taken it over, as they do.
Yeah.
We're going to see more of Zach.
Yeah.
We're going to read more about Felicity's dad, Mr. Parker. He's got a bigger role. Sebastian's still knocking about. Mia's obviously, and Elizabeth are still tight. So a few new characters have popped up. So yeah, it's interesting but frightening at the same time. I think when you do a series, or when I did the Guardian series, I had the arc ready in my head, the whole 3 books there, and I just kind of stole bits from each. But this time it's like, oh no, I've got to start again. Yeah, tricky.
Brilliant. Oh well, I look forward to that.
Thank you.
And would you like to tell us where people can find you and your blogs and your books online?
Absolutely, I'm everywhere. I am social media addicted, so yeah, you can find me everywhere. My main areas, I suppose, are Twitter and Facebook. I've got a young adult Facebook page on Facebook, which I love, and the crowd that are on there are brilliant. The interaction's lovely. It's really good fun. And I think that's fantasy author Shelley Wilson is the bit on the end. And then on Twitter, I'm at Shelley Wilson and the number 72. And I'm Twitter obsessed, so I'm always on there. Yeah, I've got my writer blog, which is shelleywilsonauthor.com, and I've got a website which is shelleywilsonauthor.co.uk. And that's produced by my publishers, BHC Press. So a few bits and pieces on there. But yeah,
and that's the self-help stuff, is it?
Yeah, it's got everything on there. Yeah, both fiction and non-fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Martha. I've had a great time.
And if you would like to find more author interviews or blogs or videos, then please do head over to my website, which is www.marthadunlop.com. Do find me on Twitter and Facebook. I do interact, I do chat, so come and meet me there. And I would love to chat to you soon. So thank you very much. Take care. Goodbye.